Alright, let's go. I'm going to be playing Nightmare, Intruders in Chetwood using Seastan's Strength and Courage Grimbeorn deck. And then I'm going to make a second video playing the same quest using my Strength and Courage Grimbeorn deck. We each took a different approach to building a deck that uses the same main combo, and I thought it'd be cool to show off how you can basically have the same idea but approach it from two different ways. So this is Nightmare, Intruders in Chetwood. It's a good quest to use against a strong deck like the Grimbeorn Strength and Courage because you have some beefy enemies you have to take care of right off the bat. As you can see, when you're playing Nightmare mode, there is no effect that triggers or anything. It's just straight up, you're just playing Nightmare mode. So what we're going to do is shuffle in the Nightmare deck after removing the cards you see here. So I've already done that. I've removed all those cards. I've shuffled in the Nightmare deck. Alright, stop the war party. Set up, put Iarion in play. Sounds like Aaron. Add one Orc War Party to the staging area. Then each player adds one different location to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. Iarion is an XXX, where X is the number of quest cards in play. The first player controls him. And then after a side quest is revealed from the encounter deck, ready him. If he leaves play, we lose the game. Orc War Party, pretty nasty. 3 threat, 6 attack, 3 defense, 6 hit points. He's an orc. He can't have attachments. While he's in the staging area, enemies in the staging area cannot take damage. And then the players cannot win the game while Orc War Party is in play. Greenway Path is the location I chose. It's a 3 threat, 5 progress location. It's got the Arnor trait. And then forced, at the end of the round, if Greenway Path is still in the staging area, search the encounter deck discard pile and victory display for Shadow the War Party and reveal it. I don't know what that is because I haven't played this Nightmare version before, but my hope is that I can just travel here during the first travel phase of the game, and hopefully I don't reveal a second one of these. So that's my plan. This quest only has one quest card, so side 1B, it's 30 quest points. And it says enemies do not make engagement checks, so that means you only can optionally engage one enemy per round, unless you have Halberad hero. He lets you engage a second one. So your enemies can build up in the staging area. Forced, at the end of the refresh phase, raise each player's threat by 1 for each enemy in the staging area. So threat can be an issue with this quest, definitely. And then the players cannot defeat the stage unless the first player controls Iarion, and then if the players defeat the stage, they win the game. So you got to get 30 progress on this quest stage, and you got to make sure there's no Orc War Parties in play in order to win. And you can't let Iarion die. Alright, let's take a look at my deck. I have Grimbeorn, he's 11 threat, he attacks for 3, defends for 3, 5 hit points. Beorning, Warrior, Sentinel. Response, after Grimbeorn the Old defends an enemy attack, spend 1 resource from his pool to declare him as an attacker against that enemy, and resolve the attack. The defending enemy gets -2 defense for the attack. Alright, we got the 1 ring, it's going to go on Grimbeorn. It's an artifact ring, it's got the master trait, it's restricted, it's immune to non-master card effects, and then at setup you also get to search your deck for a master traded card and add it to your hand, and your threat elimination level is reduced by 5, and if this card leaves play, all players lose the game. It's Eowyn. She is going to quest for 4, and she can reduce your starting threat by 3, and then you can do a big attack of her, raise your threat by 3, and she readies and gets +9 for that attack. It's going to be very useful on turn 1. This deck also uses Thurandir. He lets you search for a side quest after you take your mulligan, and then he gets +1 willpower for every side quest in the victory display. And he starts with 2 willpower, 2 attack, and 4 hit points. He's Dunedain and Ranger. This is a 4th to 3 Hunters deck, so side A says you can't include allies, and then each of your heroes can have 1 additional restricted attachment. Reduce the cost of the first restricted attachment you play on each of your heroes each round by 1, and then if each of your heroes have at least 2 restricted attachments, flip the card over. Side B, you can have an additional restricted attachment. You get +1 willpower for each restricted attachment, and then you can exhaust the contract here to deal 1 damage to each to heal 1 damage to each of your heroes. That'd be a terrible contract. It should also be noted that the 1 ring is restricted, so Grimbeorn's going to start out with 1 of his 2 restricted attachments. Alright, let's start the quest, giving the encounter deck a shuffle here. And then I'm going to give my deck one more little shuffle. And then we're going to take mulligan. I'm sorry, we're going to take a look at my opening hand and see what we got. So 6 cards. And the first card I see is Firefoot, which I'm very happy to see. Attached hero gets +1 attack, +2 if it's Éomer. And then you can basically trample. So any excess damage dealt to an enemy, you can spill that excess damage over into another enemy that you are engaged with. So very, very cool. I don't know if it'll get to trigger much in this quest since I only can engage one enemy per round, but it's a very fun effect, and it's probably my favorite mount as far as a fun card. So I love a deck with Firefoot. And it can go on a Tactics or Rohan hero, and it's restricted. Hey, another Firefoot. Okay, I don't need that. Rohan Warhorse, that's not bad. Attached to a Tactics or Rohan hero, and then after the hero participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, ready the hero. Dagger Westernaise, it's restricted, +1 attack, +2 if the enemy has a higher engagement cost. Alright, Strider. So as long as I have 5 or fewer characters, the attached character is going to get +2 willpower. That's great. Self-preservation is really good to see. It costs 3. It attaches to a character. It's not restricted, but I can exhaust it and heal 2 damage on the hero it's attached to. So I was pretty happy to see that. Okay, so the One Ring lets me find a Master Traded card. Therindir lets me find a side quest, so I've already pulled those out, as you can see on the table, and now I'm giving my deck a shuffle. So the 2 cards I pulled out are Strength and Courage and Gather Information. I set my starting threat to 25, and I draw a Rohan Warhorse. So now I have 2 Rohan Warhorses. So let's take a look. So Gather Information, it's neutral, it doesn't cost anything, 4 quest points, and then after I defeat it, I get to search my deck for a card and add it to my hand. Very, very handy. Since it's in play, Arian is going to get an extra willpower. And then later I will show Strength and Courage when I actually put it in play. I'm not going to put it in play right off the bat. It should be noted that in this build, a lot of the restricted attachments might as well just be blank. Like they could just be a blank card that just says restricted attachment. And so you're going to see me try to figure out the best way to play these. Chris says this deck can pretty much flip over on turn 2 almost every single time, and I can see why, because it's just loaded with tons of restricted attachments that can pretty much go on anybody, and you don't ever intend to use them. So there you can see I realized maybe that Dagger Westernaise is going to go better on Therindir, and I'll put Firefoot on Grimbeorn. So Grimbeorn already has 2 restricted attachments. Firefoot only cost 1 because I get to reduce the costs. Here I spend Therindir's resource to play Strider on Éowyn, and then I'm going to change my mind and spend Grimbeorn's resource because I'm most likely not going to need to spend his resource this round. And I want to try to save up 3 lore resources to get that self-preservation in play. Because the one weakness I think this deck has is Grimbeorn really can't handle 2 big attacks. If he takes 3 damage and then he has to defend again, that would take 3 damage, he's dead. Even if you heal the 1 off from the contract, he'll die. So, alright, so there you can see me sending my characters on the quest. So 2 from Arian, because there is a side quest in play. I'm going to quest against Gather Information, and I reveal 1 encounter card for each quest card in play. Great. So that's fun. The first card I get Doomed 2, and then when revealed, I have to search the encounter deck and discard pile for an encounter side quest and reveal it, or choose a different quest card in play and make that the active quest. So I choose the main quest now. And then my second card that I get is a Rugged Country, and it's just a 2 threat because I'm not currently questing against a side quest. So I made a couple progress on the main quest, and I'm going to travel to that location I was hoping to travel to. I am going to engage the Orc War Party. It's attacking for 6. Grimbeorn's defending for 3. I get Lost in the Wilderness as a shadow. Glad to see that go away. And then Éowyn is going to trigger her ability. So raise my threat by 3. She pops up. She attacks for 10. And the Orc War Party is dead. So that's a pretty big first play move there to get rid of that Orc War Party right off the bat. Grimbeorn did take 3 damage from that attack. So all the more reason to get that self-preservation in play. All right, Legacy Blade. This might as well just say it is restricted because it's +1 attack for every side quest in the victory display, but Thurindir is always going to be questing. Eowyn's always going to be questing. Aerian's always going to be questing. I actually forget to put the exhaustion markers on these guys quite a bit because I just know they're always questing. All right, Strength and Courage. It's coming into play. Attached hero gets +1 attack, and then I can exhaust the One Ring, raise my threat by 1 to double the printed attack. So that means Grimbeorn will attack for 7, and if you're triggering his ability, he also gets that -2 defense. So he's really attacking for 9, which is pretty crazy. All right, Rohan Warhorse is going on Eowyn. I had to double check to make sure it's not limit 1 per character, and it's not. So she's riding 2 horses. And that gives all my heroes 2 restricted attachments. So I will be able to flip the contract in the refresh phase because it's a refresh action. All right, so I think for a second I'm going to go against the side quest, and then I realize I really want to clear the active location. So I'm going to go against the main quest, and that means Rugged Country is only a 2 threat. And I reveal an Orc War Party. I make my 5 progress, but I was pretty happy that I killed it on turn 1. I didn't want to have to deal with a second one on turn 2, and I can't defend it. Like I was saying, Grimbeorn, he already has 3 damage, so he can't take that attack. He will die. So I have to leave it in the staging area, which makes the damage go on. Which raises my threat by 1 because I'm leaving an enemy in staging. And then you could see I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot my exhaustion tokens. Okay, so now I'm going to flip the contract. So that means everyone's going to get a willpower boost, +1 willpower for every restricted attachment they have on them. So that's going to help my willpower. I give everybody some money, and I draw another restricted attachment. It's a round shield attached to Rohan hero. Attached hero is declared a defender. I can exhaust the shield, and I can boost their defense by their willpower. That makes Eowyn a really good defender. So I just put it on her because I can. I have to pay for it now. And she gets +1 willpower because of that. All right, self-preservation is coming in play. That's going on Grimbeorn. I can exhaust it and heal 2 damage. So I'm going to exhaust that. I'm going to exhaust the contract and heal all 3 damage off of Grimbeorn. So now he can handle the Orc War Party. The only card I have in hand is Firefoot. So that can't go on Thurindir. And now I'm going to go against that side quest. You could make the argument that maybe I should just quest against the main quest and try to get out of here. But all right, what do I reveal? Each orc gets +1 to their stats, and then I got to search the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc enemy and put it in play engaged with me. Not great, but it does ready a Drayan, so that's nice. And the one orc I'm going to grab has a when revealed effect, and he's the wimpiest orc of them all. It's always nice to grab an enemy that has a when revealed effect, because then you don't have to trigger it. Aerian should have readied when that side quest was revealed. I remember in a minute. And willpower should be adjusted too. He should get +1 willpower. And then when I clear this thing, he gets -1 willpower, but Thurindir gets +1. It's like a shell game where I'm just adjusting willpower all over the place. I eventually do get it right. The card I think I want, I wasn't really sure, but Round Shield's pretty good because if there's a shadow effect, I get +2 defense. That seems like a good one to put on Grimbeorn. He can hold 1 more. There I am, I'm just trying to remember all these triggers. Okay, yeah, Adrayan is ready. He's got a willpower. And then okay. It's a lot of triggers to keep track of. All right, so here I'm trying to decide, do I want to engage that Orc War Party? And I was going to, and then I realized that side quest is boosting all their stats, and that's not really great. So I'm just going to defend with Grimbeorn. Shadow makes me discard a card for every point of damage, but Grimbeorn defends for enough and doesn't have to take any damage from that attack. And then I could swing back, and I think I don't need to raise my threat, but I actually do, because he has 4 defense, not 3, and I only can swing for 7 without using the ring. So for the rest of the game, always assume my threat is 1 higher than it is. I forgot he had +1 defense because of that side quest. It doesn't affect anything, don't worry, because look what I just drew. That's going to help a lot. So it costs 3 attached to my threat dial, and then when I be eliminated by reaching my threat elimination level, I discard that card and drop my threat back down by 5. So my threat elimination level is 45 thanks to the 1 ring. So if I ever hit 45, I need to drop it back down to 40. All right, so I am going to give Grimbeorn that shield. So now if there's ever a shadow effect, I can boost his defense by 2. That's his third restricted attachment that he can hold. So only Thurindir is short on a restricted attachment. He can technically hold 1 more. So I decide to travel against that side quest, and there's only 4 threat and staging because the Orc War Party gets +1. Alright, so I am questing for 16 if I did my math correctly. And I reveal a card from my own deck, like an idiot, because that's what I do. Okay, there it is. It's an enemy. I was kind of hoping for a location, because I only can engage 1. So I had 2 threat. That's a big difference. It's plenty to clear that side quest. So the side quest goes away. Thurindir is going to get another willpower, and Adrayan gets 1 less willpower. So they're basically just kind of swapping willpower when this happens. Okay, I only can engage 1 of these enemies. So I take the Orc War Party, because that's what I need to kill to win the game. He's attacking for 6. I kind of want some sort of shadow, and I get 1. So he gets +1. So this actually works to my benefit, because he's going to get +1 attack, but I'm going to get +2 defense thanks to the round shield. So instead of taking 3 damage, I end up just taking 2 damage, because he's attacking for 7 and I'm defending for 5. And then I can just exhaust the self-preservation and heal myself. Then I'm going to trigger the 1 ring, raise my threat by 1, and I can attack for 9, triggering everything. So it's a base of 3, and then +1, and then I double the 3, so that's 8. I'm sorry, that's 7, and then -2 defense is 9. Yeah, that's math. All right, well, we already knew I was going to draw that, and then I can play it on Thurindir, so I will. So he now has his 3rd restricted attachment. So everyone's got all the restricted attachments they can handle. I am going to play the Favor of the Valar. So now I have a way to not threat out. And let's double check all my math here. So Thurindir, there's 2 quests in the victory display. So he starts with 2, and then that's +2. And then he has 3 restricted attachments. So 2 + 2 + 3 is 7, and I think I have him at 6. Okay, so when I reveal this, I either have to discard an ally or reveal an additional card, and I reveal another enemy. For God's sakes, that's all I'm revealing is enemies, and that's not good, because that's really going to start to raise my threat. I do make some progress, but not enough. Not enough. I'm only at 11 out of 30, and I have 3 enemies in staging, and I only can engage 1. Not great. So I decide to engage the one with the most threat. There's no shadow. Grimbeorn takes a little bit of damage, and then he can heal that right off with his self-preservation. And then by raising my threat with the ring, I have enough attack to kill this guy. So he's going to be dead. I was just making sure I did, in fact, have to raise my threat. And I did. That guy's dead. 2 enemies in staging, so that's going to raise my threat by 2. Your threat can really go up fast in this quest. I'm at 40. And then everyone's going to ready. And I get Firefoot. So I drew all 3 copies of Firefoot. Definitely didn't need to see that. With this build, there's not a lot of cards at this point that I actually need to see. I have 3 restricted attachments on everybody. And yeah, I'm good. Okay, so there you can see me realizing Thurindir should have been questing for 1 more. So I added that progress I should have made. Actually, there's a lot of stuff going on with willpower. I would strongly suggest if you're playing a deck like this, have a way to do that. Okay, kill them. Yuck. This nightmare card is just terrible. So I got to add an Orc War Party to the staging area. And then I got to either remove all the progress I've made or it attacks me. So, oh God. I mean, either remove 12 progress or I get attacked. And it stays in the staging area when it attacks me. So that means I can't trigger Grimbeorn's response and damage it back. It's just really nasty. All right, so there is a shadow, and it's kind of the same deal where I deal a damage to myself, but now I get to boost my defense with the shield. I'm just checking to make sure it's not a combat action. and so I only end up taking 2 damage, which, as you can see, self-preservation can just heal it right back off. But yeah, I can't trigger my effect to kill that Orc War Party. I was actually thinking, oh, this ain't bad, I'll just kill the Orc War Party. And so I had no threat. But he's in the staging area, and the Orc War Party says, while he's in the staging area, enemies cannot take damage. Alright, so, but I've actually crossed the 20 mark, and our dice only goes up to 20. So I'm at 22. I wonder how many sides on a dice that size you could add before it basically just turns into a ball. Oh, I have no idea. Okay. Yeah, there you can see I keep forgetting to exhaust everybody. Because if I wasn't filming this, I wouldn't be even using exhaustion tokens. Because obviously Adrayan, or Aerian, Thurindir, and Eowyn are always committing to the quest. But since I'm recording it, I should probably put the exhaustion tokens on there. Alright, so let's heal the damage. And I am going to engage this guy. I figure I can take it undefended and just put the damage somewhere. Attacking enemy gets +1. So he's only attacking for 3. So I do put the damage on Thurindir, and then I can trigger the contract and heal one of them off. I just wanted to get an enemy out of staging, because I mean, it's raise your threat by 1 for each enemy in staging. Alright, and so I raise my threat, and at this point I should be at 45, because remember, I forgot to raise my threat to kill that one enemy. So I'd have to trigger that Favor the Valar, which would have dropped me back down to 40. So just remember that. It should be at 40 right now. Alright, so once again, I drew a restricted attachment, and I can't play it. So really, all the cards I'm drawing right now are kind of useless. Another Favor of the Valar would be nice. That's really the only card I can get. Alright, so questing for 17. I'm up against 5, and I revealed Doomed 2. Ugh. And then I either gotta choose a different quest card in play or search for one. So that, here you can see me triggering it back down to 40 because that pushed me over the edge, but I really should be at 42. Alright, so the quest card I find is Lost in the Wilderness. Hey, remember me saying I didn't care about all the cards in my hand? Well, Lost in the Wilderness is a great side quest to pick because it makes you put all your cards under there and you get them back when you clear it. Since I don't need any of the cards in my hand, that's a pretty good side quest to have come into play. That also readies Adrayan, I always say Adrayan, Aerian, and he gets +1 willpower. And so I'm going to make the progress I need to have 30. So now all I have to do is kill this Orc War Party to win. So the little orc there, he's attacking for 2. Aerian can defend. There's no shadow. And then Grimbeorn is going to defend the Orc War Party. And there is no shadow. He's going to take 3 damage. And then I can trigger the ring and kill the Orc War Party. So my final threat, I believe, ended up being 43 out of 45. So pretty close. This deck, it won, but it came very close to losing due to threat. But it was very fun. Thanks for making that deck, Chris. It was a lot of fun to play. Like I said, I'm going to make another video using my version of a Grimbeorn Strength and Courage deck and play against the same quest. And we'll just see, well, if I can win and just how the 2 decks play a little differently. But thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take care. Bye-bye.